The sound of my own heartbeat was deafening as I crouched behind the velvet curtains, watching the grand ballroom fill with people who had no idea I was being set up. The lights glittered on the crystal chandeliers, reflecting off the polished floors like 1,000 tiny eyes staring at me. I could feel her gaze even from a distance, Christine, smiling, mingling, radiating charm. She didn't need to say anything, I could feel the silent trap she had laid for me. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the walls closing in, not because of the crowd, but because someone had been plotting your downfall for months? Yeah, that's exactly how I felt that night. I knew she had doctored the guest list, leaked false information to our clients, and whispered poison into everyone's ear about me. And tonight was supposed to be my professional humiliation. But I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction. Not tonight. Not ever. If you've ever been underestimated, erased, or betrayed, hit that like button. This story is for you. Drop your story in the comments while you listen, because what I did next changed my life. My name is Raina, 34, living in New York City, and I've spent most of my life quietly observing the world. I'm a data analyst by profession, which means I see patterns, sometimes patterns people don't want seen. People often call me reserved, maybe even timid. But I learned long ago, quiet people notice everything. And when the right time comes, we act. I grew up in a household where words could hurt more than fists, where silence was often my shield. That upbringing didn't make me weak, it taught me strategy. And I was about to put that strategy into action. Christine. Beautiful, sophisticated, deadly in her politeness. She was my business partner, or rather, that's what everyone thought. To me, she was the perfect storm wrapped in designer clothes. Charming in public, ruthless in private. She had a way of making people doubt themselves, erasing my ideas, my voice, my very presence, without leaving a trace. In meetings, she would casually correct me in front of clients, twisting my words, making me seem incompetent. "Oh, Raina, I think you misunderstood the client's request, didn't you?" She would say it so sweetly, so innocently, that everyone else believed her. And I smiled, nodded, and buried my frustration. Because I knew that stormy nights made for the clearest skies. At first, it was small things. She would forget to include me in emails, reassign my projects, or drop offhand remarks about my abilities to the senior partners. I remember staying late at the office, redoing reports she had tampered with, only to have her take credit in front of clients. Then, the subtle psychological games began. She would schedule meetings at impossible hours and call them urgent, knowing I had personal commitments. When I protested, she would feign concern, "Raina, I just want to help you grow. You have such potential, but you really need to push harder." Her words were honey, but the sting was real. One week, she spread rumors that I had been negotiating with a rival firm behind the company's back. People whispered. Friends questioned me. And yet, I remained calm. I watched. I collected. The gala was the tipping point. The night of the company's 50th anniversary celebration, every partner, client, and board member in the city was there. Christine had arranged for a presentation that would make it look like I had leaked confidential data to a competitor. I knew she had falsified emails and reports to frame me. I felt the champagne glass tremble in my hand as I realized how close I was to losing everything. My career, my reputation, even my friendships, all hanging by a thread. And Christine? She was glowing, waiting for the fallout with the patience of a spider. But here's where quiet power comes in. I didn't panic. I didn't yell. I didn't confront her publicly. I went home and spent nights tracing emails, analyzing server logs, and collecting proof. Every suspicious timestamp, every manipulated report, every conversation I had carefully documented became a weapon of truth. I even secretly recorded a few key meetings with her, where she admitted to altering documents. I reached out to colleagues who had been witness to her subtle manipulations, and they were willing to back me up once they realized the pattern. It took weeks of careful work, connecting dots, cross-referencing statements, and reconstructing the timeline of lies, but by the time I was ready to act, the picture was crystal clear. The board meeting was scheduled. I walked in carrying a folder so thick with evidence it could have crushed a small book. Christine tried her usual smile, her calm demeanor, but she noticed my composure. She hesitated. Something had changed. I presented every document, every email, every recorded meeting. I let the facts speak, and they spoke loudly. No yelling. No theatrics. Just undeniable proof. Questions came from every direction. The CEO asked about the emails. The senior partners asked about the meetings. Christine faltered, her smooth facade cracking under scrutiny. I answered calmly, logically, and without anger. The room shifted. The narrative she had built for months fell apart in front of the right people. Christine wasn't arrested or publicly humiliated in some dramatic way. No. That's not how quiet power works. But the fallout was real. She lost clients. Her credibility within the company evaporated. People who had once been loyal to her slowly distanced themselves. The influence she had wielded for years slipped through her fingers quietly, inexorably, like sand. I didn't gloat. I didn't seek revenge for revenge's sake. I simply watched as the consequences of her own manipulations dismantled her carefully constructed persona. Today, I work in a different department, with a team that respects me and values my insights. I started mentoring young professionals, teaching them how to navigate workplaces where manipulation and gaslighting are the norm. I've learned that the best revenge is quiet, calculated, and strategic. It's about reclaiming your power without losing your dignity. I finally sleep at night knowing that I am free from fear, from betrayal, from the weight of someone else's control. I even redecorated my apartment, started painting again, and found joy in small things: morning coffee on the balcony, long walks in the park, and the satisfaction of having endured and thrived. Today, I work in a different department, with a team that respects me and values my insights. I started mentoring young professionals, teaching them how to navigate workplaces where manipulation and gaslighting are the norm. I've learned that the best revenge is quiet, calculated, and strategic. It's about reclaiming your power without losing your dignity. I finally sleep at night knowing that I am free from fear, from betrayal, from the weight of someone else's control. I even redecorated my apartment, started painting again, and found joy in small things: morning coffee on the balcony, long walks in the park, and the satisfaction of having endured and thrived. If you've ever been underestimated, erased, or betrayed, this story is for you. Quiet, strategic patience can dismantle even the most cunning manipulator. You don't need fireworks. You need composure, clarity, and the courage to act when the time is right. Share your story in the comments. I want to hear how you've reclaimed your power. And if you want more stories of quiet revenge, clever justice, and reclaiming yourself on your own terms, hit that like button and subscribe to Revenge with Raina. Remember, the most powerful victories are the ones no one sees coming.